Welcome to Nerd on Nerd with me, Jack Kempster.
And me, Liam Underwood. In this episode, we're going to be discussing Overwatch, which is a game available on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. We're also going to be just talking. So that leaves
sort of
us
standard episode then.
That leads us into my favourite section, catching up with Jack and Liam. So what's new with you, Jack?
Nothing, mate. I'm the same old, same old.
Yeah, nothing been going on in your life.
No, nothing.
Nothing at all.
No.
No work.
I'm just kidding, Liam. Yeah, no, I've been working a lot the last 2 weeks. Yeah.
What have you been working on?
EU referendum graphics.
Ooh, that sounds political.
Yep.
Cool. So
what have you been up to?
Just living my life, to be honest. You know, like a free spirit who sort of 9 to 5 is shackled, but all the other time just floating in the wind.
So also a lot of work on your end then.
Yeah, not to do with the EU referendum, but to do with like a global sales conference that we've got coming up, and a load of work needs to get done before it.
Well, it sounds very exciting.
Oh, honestly, I could feel like a post-it note with all my excitement.
Oh, that's pretty great.
It's quite a lot, really, for me and my voice. Yeah. Still doing D&D, you'd be pleased to know.
Oh yeah, how's that going? Is this your D&D group now have sort of split apart, haven't they? People
Yeah.
have gone to places.
Yeah. So, we're supposed to have 2 people Skype in, but one of them had technical issues.
Okay.
So we had one person Skype in. It was different. There's a bit less of an atmosphere, I'd say.
Yeah.
But in good news, I got to level 3, and that leaves me with a very difficult decision to make.
What is the decision?
So, I don't know if you know this, but when you're a warlock in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, once you hit level 3, you can choose like a specialty, if you will. So I can either get this new spell that lets me kind of conjure up a tome, and I can put other spells inside of it.
Just real quick, I don't want to detract from your point, but could you repeat that?
Why?
What does the spell let you do, Liam?
It lets you conjure up a tome.
Sorry, what does it let you do?
Am I saying the words wrong?
Say it again.
How am I meant to say it?
Say it.
Conjure up a tome. Conjure. Conjure up a tome.
Conjure.
Sorry for trying to get a bit of class and elegance in the show.
Not class.
Jeez.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry. Go on. What does the other bit let you do? What's the other choice?
So the other 2, I can do that. I can something like if I find a weapon, I can kind of consume it, and then it can never be taken away from me, and I can always use it. Mm-hmm. And then the third and final option is I can have like a little pet, like a little imp or a pseudo dragon or something that I can magic into existence, and it'll obey me.
See, for me, that's not a difficult choice.
Well, I'm leaning towards the pet.
Yeah.
But then it leads on to the question of, well, what do I have as a pet?
Like an imp, a badass imp.
Why an imp though? Like, I like the sound of a pseudo dragon.
Pseudo dragons are lame. They're just like tiny dragons.
What's lame about that?
They're like tiny.
Imp? What's good about an imp?
They're hilarious.
In what way?
Have you not seen the famous cartoon Hunchback of Notre Dame? I was trying to remember what Disney film they had gargoyles, and one of them was a bit impy, wasn't he?
I've never seen it.
I think I've seen that film once.
Yeah, I mean...
Weird reference for me.
There was also a TV show called Gargoyles.
Yeah, I think I might be mixing it up, and then I couldn't remember if I've actually ever seen gargoyles.
I used to have toys, Gargoyles toys, like action figures and stuff, when I was a kid.
And didn't you used to think how cool it would be to be able to summon one of them?
No.
No.
But I think a gargoyle is very different to an imp.
They're similar.
Not really. Like, gargoyles are pretty big, and they turn to stone when their duties are done or whatever. Or, like, at night or something, or in the day. I don't know.
If you get them wet after midnight.
Yeah, or if you feed them.
Yeah.
But imps, they're just like little screechy little... I think I'd have a headache if I had an imp follow me around everywhere.
Why do you think it'd be screechy?
Because, alright, picture the voice of an imp.
Okay.
It's quite a high-pitched, shrill noise.
I mean, my one isn't.
How does your one sound?
Sort of normal.
Go on. So, it's like, hello, I'm the imp.
Why is it deeper than normal?
I don't know, I'm trying to...
It's not high-pitched, but he's not, super deep.
No, mine's this little high-pitched shrieky thing that shoots fireballs.
Okay, well, I mean, you're aware it's a fantasy world where I'm sure that you don't have to have that.
Yeah, but it's in my head now, so like I'd be lying to myself. I would be lying to myself.
Say to your DM, please describe it to me, and please make it not high pitched.
Maybe, but like a pseudo dragon. Now that just sounds chill.
Yeah.
Like a little pseudo dragon resting on my shoulder. I imagine like he can't even summon up fire. It's just little puffs of smoke.
Yeah, I can't remember what they're.
I mean, he'd be fucking useless. I don't know.
Because you don't want something that's stupid.
No, I've got to check with the DM, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's something I've been up to.
Fair enough.
Probably only interesting to really me.
Well, I'm interested.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, at least that's two of us.
Yeah. Something else I've been doing that you might be keen to know about. I've got addicted to a new TV show. Well, I say new, it's new to me.
Yep.
It's a show called Banshee.
Yes, I've seen the first series of Banshee.
Right. Here's the thing. Super like the show. I've recently started season 3. I believe they're currently airing season 4, and that's going to be the final season.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I have no idea how to even begin describing the show without spoiling it.
Okay. What can you? Is there not stuff you can say that's not a spoiler about?
I honestly don't know.
Because I can't remember how you get introduced to the main character. Like, I don't know if you know what he is.
You do. Like, you find it out very early on, but then, like, I'd say so much happens in the pilot episode, and, like, kind of revealing half of that would give away a lot of the stuff, but it is also the whole premise of the show.
Well, I guess, I mean, you could say it without saying what it's about. Like, you could say it's an action-y sort of show.
Yeah, it's...
Like, there's shooting.
Oh, there's a lot of boobs.
There's lots of boobs.
There's so... And I'll be honest, half of them ain't bad either.
Is that half as in half the women's boobs are fine, or half as in you only like left-hand boobs?
No, half the women. Some of the women.
Who's it made by? Is it made by... It's made by someone that used to make porn films, isn't it?
It's made by Cinemax.
Yeah, aren't Cinemax quite famous for being a porny channel in America?
I wouldn't know.
I'm sure I heard that before, and then that was why...
I'm sure you have a lot of first-hand experience with that.
With American porn channels that might not even be porn channels.
Yeah, I'm sure, during your porn searches, you've come across them.
I don't think porn companies usually put their, like, films...
Yeah, but I'm sure on something like RedTube, people aren't that fussed about where it was sourced from.
They get taken down now.
Do they? It's not a site that I would particularly use. However, if they would like to sponsor us, I'm totally okay with that.
Seeing as the Fleshlight begging has fallen through.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, a little bit disappointed about that. So the other company that I've kind of seen about is adamandeve.com, I think it is.
What the fuck is that?
Oh, well, maybe they should sponsor us, and they could send you a box of examples of what the fuck that is.
I don't think that's how sponsorship works, Liam.
Yeah.
I don't think we go, I'm not going to find out what it is until they sponsor us.
What a good reason to sponsor us, though, right?
No, why would that be important to them?
Because we could record you opening the box and discovering the delights within.
See, but this is the thing. I assume it's a sex thing.
Well, I mean, it could be biblical.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's fucking not, though, because you found it.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know if they'd want a sponsorship deal where I open it and do like a live reaction thing, and my reaction will probably be, what the fuck are these things? Do they go in my butt? Do
they
go
might
in
want
lady's vagina? What is happening with this? I'm sure they don't.
No, we can't be presumptuous. That might be their bread and butter, is like this whole kind of educating the like youthful bachelor male into being more comfortable with these sort of things.
Right, I'm just going to assume that this is a company that sells sex toys, and I'd like to point out that I feel like sex toy companies probably make most of their money from people that are buying sex toys, not that are looking to be educated.
Well, no, but right, so
bachelor males.
No, but here's the thing: people that already want to buy sex toys, right? They know that they could go to somewhere like adamandeve.com and buy these sex toys.
Stop saying it like you're sponsoring. They're sponsoring us.
I'm just giving them a sample of if they sponsored us, what they could expect. Whereas someone like, so they've got that market covered, but then someone like you could come along, and that's a whole new market for them to tap into. Like, I'm not saying you're the market. I'm saying people like you. Sort of young, hip, men about town, living in the big city, constantly on the grind or grinder.
How did you find this site?
So, what's been up with you? Oh, and Banshee. Back to the main point. Super good. If you're not watching it, you should. Just to give you some idea, like, I've been watching it with Kat, and even she's enjoying it. So that really says a lot.
Yeah, no, it's a good show. I need to catch up on series 2 and 3.
Yeah, but first you've got Walking Dead to catch up on.
Nah, I'm going to keep putting that one off.
It's just, I don't know why.
Because it annoys you.
But it's annoying me because you're depriving yourself of something that's so good.
Yeah.
It's going to be another Breaking Bad, where you'll be like,
No,
many
because
people
I'm
have said
actually
it's good.
past series 2 of Walking Dead. I made it past the slump in Walking Dead.
Oh, that's arguable.
Really?
I'm not a fan of The Walking Dead until this season.
Yeah, so I've made it past...
season 1.
I'm up to this season, I just haven't watched this season yet.
Then watch it.
Okay. Jesus.
Yeah, like, what are you currently watching? Because I know you went through like a
Game of
Flash
Thrones.
thing. Yeah, but that's 1 hour a week.
Yeah, I'm a busy man.
Yeah, well, you were like blitzing through Flash and Arrow and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
but then my laptop broke, so now I have to I can't access my laptop.
So, so you haven't actually finished those shows then?
No.
Ah.
It's really irritating.
Do you know what else
I'm
is
like-
irritating?
Yeah, go on.
Netflix.
Why?
On my TV, for some reason, just doesn't handle motion at all. And I don't know if it's the TV's fault.
I thought you discovered it was the TV.
Or is it the internet, Jack?
I haven't. It won't be the internet. The internet would be the actual quality would drop.
Then it must be the TV's fault, and that makes me livid.
Yeah. Didn't you look it up? I'm sure we both looked it up for you.
It's possible, but I forget things all the time.
That's fair enough.
So, yeah, that's Liam.
Liam's upset with Netflix.
Ah,
That does remind me, Liam. I also have been watching a new TV show.
yes, go on.
Which, well, it's not even a TV show. It's an internet show made by roosterteeth.com called Day 5, which
Yeah.
is really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like,
Is it like genuinely good,
Yeah.
or is it like good with an asterisk?
No,
and
it's like
good
it's like
for a
if
web
this
show.
was on TV, I
Yeah.
would be watching it.
So why isn't it on TV then? If it's like good,
Because they're an internet company.
but isn't like TV where the big bucks are to be had?
No, not anymore.
No,
What world do you live in? No, of course not.
I don't know
companies
anymore,
like,
Jack.
When companies like Netflix are releasing original series and like producers are going to Netflix to have their series made, no, TV's not the big deal. What used to be.
That's true. It's very.
The internet's the big place, so that's
So-
why companies are starting to do this. Like,
Why
releasing their
didn't-
own original series?
Why haven't they put it on Netflix?
Because they have their own site.
Yeah, but don't you have to pay to access it?
To get Day 5, you do, yeah.
Yeah, so that I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, but that's the same with a Netflix original series.
Yeah, but I'm already paying for that, so it's not like an extra cost to me.
I'm not trying to get you to buy it, Liam. I'm just telling you that it's a fucking good show.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I'm saying if I want to watch it, it's annoying that I have to pay money to see it.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry. Well, you do live in a world that is based on, economy and money.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, when I'm
it's real
already...
difficult for you to. I'm sorry that I can't just talk to Rooster Teeth and get them to give it to you for fucking
Yeah,
free.
what I'm saying is, when I'm already paying for Netflix, it doesn't make sense to me why they don't put it on Netflix, and surely that would get them a larger
have to
viewer
explain
base.
economics and stuff to you, Liam. I don't want to have to do that.
But are we in agreement that if they put on Netflix, there is a larger viewer base for them to tap into?
Yeah, but they wouldn't make as much money.
Well,
They wouldn't, because they're making money off of it. They have their whole thing is a sponsorship deal where like you pay a certain amount a month and that gives you access to the sponsor shows, which there's not like a.
What's the show
crazy
about?
amount of. Day 5, Liam,
sorry, I got bored.
is about.
Yeah.
It's about this disease or something. We're not sure yet.
Okay.
That spreads across the world all at once and makes sleep lethal. So basically, immediately.
Yeah.
However, a huge percentage of the world's population just dies.
Yeah.
And then the people that have survived are like, there's a group of people in a hospital that were on the night shift. So they saw the people come in that started dying and they realised what it was, so didn't go to sleep. There's a drug addict who was on a bend.
A bend?
Yeah, where you take a lot of drugs or you drink a lot.
I thought that was a bender.
Yeah, I shortened it to bend. Can you not do that? I don't know.
I mean, maybe you can. I'm clearly not the wordsmith of this duo.
But no, but seriously, it's like a really interesting. Like the way they've done it
Yeah.
is really good, and like it would be so easy to have made your so the drug addict character is kind of the main character,
Yeah.
and it would be really easy to make him like the traditional stereotype drug addict whose life has fallen apart.
Yeah.
But instead, he's like this genuinely humorous guy who realizes that he's fucked up his life and is on drugs and like knows it's the wrong thing, but it's played like he's a real addict sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just really interesting. Like he's like his best mate in this universe of where everyone's dead is this kid that he meets, because there's so few people left. It's this like 13-year-old boy, and they both sort of look out for each other, and it's genuinely like.
But how, like, so if they sleep, they die?
Yeah, if you fall asleep, you die.
So how do you kind of not sleep then? Because don't you die if you don't sleep as well for a long enough time?
Yeah, so that's like a point in episode 1 when they meet the night shift people.
Yeah.
A doctor there says to them, because they're like, well, we're just going to carry on, doing all these drugs and smoking cigarettes and drinking energy drinks and all that stuff. And she's like, well, that would be fine, but your body's never going to adapt to this. So at the moment, you have an expiration date. There's a point where we won't be able to go on any longer and we'll all fall asleep.
It sounds a little bit like a Nightmare on Elm Street, but kind of without like the best part of that movie.
Yeah, except it's nothing like that. Literally, the only similar thing is the sleep bit.
Yeah, like if you
Nightmare
fall
on Elm
asleep,
Street
you
isn't
die.
an apocalypse film?
Not yet.
Yeah, are you still watching Nightmare on Elm Streets that come out?
I mean, don't know if they're still making them.
Did they give up after they did Freddy vs Jason?
I think they might have done. Well,
Yeah.
they tried to do a remake after that, didn't they?
Oh, that's right. I never watched
with
that.
The dude from Watchmen. He was the new like Freddy Krueger, and it was just just why would you try and remake a classic like that?
Yeah, it's nothing like Nightmare on Elm Street apart from the lethal sleep bit. It is more like an apocalypse film.
So like Apocalypse Now.
No, that wasn't an apocalypse film.
So what if you had to like say right? Describe it as it was. It's this
I
film.
know this is difficult for you to
meets this
understand, Liam, but
film.
not everything has to be the same as something else.
No. This is what I'm saying. So
Things
describe
can
it.
just stand on their own.
If you could mash up two films that would make this, what two films would they be?
Well, I wouldn't mash up films because it's not a fucking film.
Yeah.
So that's my first thing.
Okay.
So it'd probably be TV shows.
Okay.
And then I don't know, the fucking Walking Dead, because that's apocalyptic.
Yeah.
And some other show where sleep's the thing. So
Big Brother?
The Chronicles of Sleep.
Okay. You're not selling it to me. Like, if that was an elevator pitch...
Mate, honestly, I didn't come here expecting to sell it to you, because you are the worst person to try and convince to do anything, because you live in a tiny little bubble
Yeah.
of your own sort of hate.
And love.
Nah.
It's mostly self-love.
I feel like it's an outer skin of love, wrapping this sort of core of hatred.
No, it's just a lot of love.
Nah.
There's very little hatred, but there's an awful lot of love.
Okay. Liam!
Yes.
I also, this week, in the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
went into the cinema. So
Whoa! Back up. Someone's trying
No.
to encroach on my territory here.
I'm doing a new segment of the show
Yeah.
called Jack has gone to a cinema to see a film that was long, and he's going to give you the spoiler-free review of that film that he went and saw at the cinema in Wimbledon, and now he's going to tell you it, and he's going to try not to spoil the film.
Cool. So it's time for...
Repeat it for me.
I don't know what you just said.
I can't remember it.
Something about Jack going to a cinema and having a gay old time.
Okay. The film I went to see, Liam,
Yeah.
is a little film called Alice Through the Looking Glass, something like that.
Which I believe is a sequel to
It is. I've seen the original.
Alice in Wonderland, right?
Yeah.
Tim Burton directed it.
Yes.
Did he direct the sequel?
Yeah, I think so. I assume so.
Okay. And what's the message?
Don't bother going and seeing it.
Oh, really?
I didn't enjoy the first one
Why would you go and see the second one then?
because I went with a friend.
See, I also went to cinema to see the first one. Didn't enjoy it. So when this one came out, I thought I could go and see it with my little cinema card. Lets me see films without having to pay extra money. But I don't want to.
Yeah, that's probably the right thing to do. I went with a friend, so I was like, I don't want that person to have to go by themselves.
Why not?
Because I don't know, because I'm a nice person.
I go to cinema by myself like nearly all the
Yeah,
time.
but you're a loser. I'm sorry, that was mean. You're not a loser.
But you're never
you like going to the cinema by yourself.
You're never like, oh, I'm going to go with Liam. Just have to go
I'm not
by
travelling to
himself.
Portsmouth to go to the cinema.
I'm worth it.
You aren't. So while I'm making it sound like this film was terrible, it wasn't like, it's not the worst film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And considering I remember really not enjoying the first film,
Yes.
and I think I enjoyed this one slightly more than that.
Okay.
But I knew it. I went in knowing that I wouldn't enjoy it.
So why
I
did you go?
Would you stop? Because I went for a friend.
It's just mental.
Jesus Christ, Liam.
That's just mental.
Right. Sorry. Yeah, you don't understand friendship.
No.
That's why I have to do all the friendship work in this friendship.
Yes. So what's new in this sequel that makes it different to the first?
I don't know, mate.
I know,
Not much.
Sacha Baron Cohen, is that his name?
Yeah, he plays Time.
Yeah, he wasn't in the first one.
That's true, he wasn't.
Anything else that's new? Did you see it in 3D?
No.
So 2D, IMAX?
No.
Okay.
While I went for a friend, I wasn't going to spend any more money on this than I had to.
Fair enough. Did you get popcorn?
No.
Drink?
I never get stuff from the cinema. Like, I went in with snacks and a drink, but I didn't buy them at the cinema.
Cool. And out of 5?
2.
Wow, that's not good.
It's more enjoyable if you spend the entire film knowing that, because you know how the originals are kind of meant to be like, maybe Alice is imagining it all in her head and she's actually crazy.
Yeah.
I basically spent the whole film being like, how does this prove that? And that was fun until about halfway through, where there is a scene where she wakes up in a mental hospital, and I was like, right, well, they're sort of been a bit heavy-handed with the whole she's mental.
Did you ever watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yes.
Have you seen every episode?
Yes.
They did that concept fantastically in one of the episodes.
Yeah, there's an episode where she wakes up in a mental home and no one remembers anything, and then wasn't it like the implication was that it all still could be in her head after that?
Yeah, they left it very ambiguous at the ending.
Yeah.
Which do you think this film would have maybe benefited if they'd have done that?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
But I feel like it wasn't meant. It wasn't. I don't think it was made for people like our age or like us.
So who do you think it's made for?
Kids.
And if they ever did a third one, would you go and see it?
No.
Okay. Did you see anything else at the cinema?
No.
So yeah, this is kind of unprecedented because I actually haven't been to the cinema recently.
Yeah, what's happening? Just work.
There's been nothing out that I've been like, oh, I really want to see that. Like,
don't pretend like you check what films you're going to go see, because with your new stupid pass, you go and see fucking everything.
So the thing I've been most tempted to, but not really enough, was Warcraft.
I really want to see that.
The problem is, I want to see it, but it kind of came out when half term was on, and the last thing I want to do is go and see it surrounded by like 12-year-olds.
What age restriction is it?
I'm pretty sure it's 12 and above.
I've heard it's very gory.
But it's going to be like not.
I don't think a bunch
graphic.
of kids are going to go see it. No, I've heard it is. I've genuinely heard that it's like pretty graphic. People I've basically read an article about Warcraft saying that this guy was like, I don't understand. It shows how flawed America and like England as well, how our rating systems are fucked. Because if you swear, he was like, if you say fuck, what is it, once or or twice or whatever, he was like, that immediately puts it at 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he was like, but in this film there is a scene where a man gets run through with a sword, and you see him get run through with a sword, and like that's on screen. The film is still.
It's a 12A Warcraft.
Yeah, so that's mental.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if it's I've been saying for a long time that it's mental that you can't really show nudity or like sex, but you can show like people getting shot in the face.
Yeah, that's like a really common like thing where people say, Jeez, I'm really struggling to formulate a thought today.
It fosters this violent mentality that we're seeing spreading through society.
That's absolutely stupid. You're not one of those people that believes that. And
I'm not. I don't think that movies make killers.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that. It's more a reflection of society's view of those things.
Yeah, and I'm going to refrain from quoting Scream as well, so you're all welcome for that.
But yeah, that's my cinema experience.
Have you been reading any books lately?
Yeah, Liam. This week, I started a new series of books.
Oh, yeah?
I've been reading. Called, the actual series is called The Macht, the M-A-C-H-T. I don't know how to pronounce that. Marked, The Marked, maybe?
The Mocked.
In my head, I've been saying it Macked.
So, yeah, it's like Mach 0.5. That's a speed or something, right?
Yeah. But yeah, it's basically, sort of based on historical Greek people.
Yeah.
So spears, shields, bronze armour, that kind of thing. But it's set in a fantasy world.
Why Greek?
Why not?
Why not Roman?
Because the Romans didn't use particularly circular shields. They used square shields. They were famous for making the turtle formation, Liam.
Yeah, I know that.
Welcome to another side of me that you might not have known about, Liam, which is that I'm also obsessed with Roman and Greeks.
Okay, so what's the
Ancient
difference?
Romans. The Romans used square shields. They formed centurions.
And the Greeks did a lot of sport, right?
Jesus Christ.
Because the Olympics comes from Greece, yeah?
Yeah.
There we go then.
But
and they used to...
But no one's... When you're thinking about the military, like ancient history military stuff, you're not thinking about the Greeks being sport... They didn't like turn out on a field of battle with the Romans all facing off against them, and the Greeks just start like hurling discuses and going, I got that quite far.
I feel like...
I challenge you, Romans, to a 100-metre sprint.
I feel like that's where like shot putting would come in handy.
That is where that stuff comes from. It used to be a military
So it's
game.
not that silly after all. And they used to do it naked. So sit on that
as well. Why is that the fact that everyone knows about the ancient Greek?
It's because we like to imagine the little willies like just tackling
Do
around. Yeah, just like you imagine someone running, and then you imagine them doing it naked, and it just flip flopping all over the place.
It would be quite hilarious.
Yeah, it would. It would make the current Olympics a lot more interesting to watch, I think.
But yeah, so this series of books, I'm 3 in. It's really fucking good. I'm really enjoying it.
How many are there in total?
I'm not sure. There's more than 3. I think it might be a...
Sexology.
Possibly? I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm sure I think there's a 4th one, definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100%.
And what's been kind of your favourite part of it?
The fighting.
Cool. Do you find, like when I used to read books...
Yeah.
And when I used to write books as well, back in the day...
When you say write books, do you mean the weird sex plays you used to write?
Okay. Like, I find writing fighting and action very difficult, because, like, I can imagine it really well, and I can, like, picture how it would play out on a screen, but then, like, turning that into text, it's hard to make it exciting and dynamic.
Yeah.
Any advice?
Oh, are you... Advice? What? One, why are you writing fighting into your sex plays?
It's just the way things turn out sometimes.
Oh, God. I don't know. No, some books do it really well. I know what you mean, because there are books that I've read where it's, like, not described particularly great, but this one's doing a really good job of it.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what do they do that makes it better?
I don't know. Here's the thing with me and reading. Right?
Okay. You do a lot of it on the toilet, don't you?
I just do it all the time.
Okay.
Anytime I'm travelling and standing still, so like in a car, on a train, on a bus.
On a bike?
I'll always be reading. No, because then you've got to pay attention to the road.
Okay.
I do sometimes walk and read if I get to a really good bit and don't want to stop.
Yeah.
I've done that. But when I don't remember the writing of this book. Like, I couldn't quote you a line of text from it.
Okay.
Because that's not how I remember it. I remember, like, what I was imagining was happening, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, like, I've never really been good at looking back at a book and being like, oh, they explained this really well. Because, like, I'm not looking at that, or I don't remember that.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean?
Sure.
You don't sound convincing.
I know, but for the purposes of speeding up this section, I 100% understand what you mean.
So, Liam, what have you been reading?
A graphic novel.
Yeah.
Called Curb Stomp.
Oh, yeah? What's that about?
It's like... have you seen the movie The Warriors?
Is that the one with the Warriors come out and play?
Yes.
I've never seen it.
Right. The essential premise of The Warriors is it's a kind of set in a dystopian New York, and it's a gang that are being framed for killing another gang member, and they've got to get through a load of territories to get back to their home turf.
Okay.
Essentially. It's been a couple of years since I've seen it, so that might not be 100% accurate. This is like a female version of that, but it's less The Warriors and more its own thing.
Yeah.
But it's like gangs, and this story follows a female gang, and someone encroaches on their turf, and they curb stomp this kid.
Yeah.
And then it's all about the fallout of that with the other gangs.
So is it set in a future? Is it set in the future, or is it?
It's not very clear. It's more just set in like a fictionalized kind of. You've got like a city that's doing really well, and then you've got 3 boroughs that surround the city. Right, and that's where all the poverty is. And one of the boroughs is like rife with drugs. Another one has guns. And then the one where the girl gang is, they don't really have anything like that. They just are kind of there. They've been there their whole lives, so they don't know any other way of life almost. Like, they're not doing well off financially or anything, but they have that, like, what's the word? Not pride. What is it? All the Americans, they're very, like...
patriotic?
That's it. They have, like, that for their little borough.
Yeah, got you.
But yeah, I haven't finished it yet. But so far, bloody good book.
Liam!
Yeah?
There was other big stuff that happened.
What?
That we totally didn't forget about until just now.
Oh no, what was it?
E3!
Whoa, that's an electronic entertainment expo, right?
Very, very good.
Do you know what? I started saying that, not fully knowing what the end would be, and just lucked out.
That's pretty impressive then.
Thank you.
That's an electronics experience enterprising.
I mean, you know, it could have gone that way.
It could have. But yeah, there's, lots of stuff got announced. I don't want to talk about any of that stuff. The only things I want to talk about, Liam,
Yep.
a Death Stranding,
Yep.
which is Hideo Kojima's new game.
Wait, what about what I want to talk about?
Well, that's fine. You can talk about what you want to talk about. I'm talking about what I want to talk about.
Okay, cool. Good. Carry on.
Death Stranding.
Hideo Kojima's. And he's responsible for...
the PT demo and Metal Gear Solid.
Of course.
Are like his big things.
Yeah. I'm just,
Silent Hill.
like... I think what we have to bear in mind is not all of our listeners maybe...
They should!
Yeah, but, I'm here to kind of represent those ones and get them up to speed.
Got you. And then the other thing is Resident Evil 7?
Yeah.
Which had a playable demo released
Did you
as part
play
of the
that?
E3 announcement. No, I'm not going to play it. It's too scary.
Oh, okay. Because you don't like scary games, do you?
I can't play them. I like them. I like watching them,
Yeah.
but I can't play them.
Okay. So, the other big thing that's being pushed is, maybe not so much at E3, but like virtual reality.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to really kind of come into its own this year with like the release of...
Morpheus?
Yeah, and other things.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any dangers attached to that?
Define dangers.
So, I was reading an article the other day about someone who was playing, I believe it was Fallout. They're doing a virtual reality version of Fallout 4.
Yep.
And they were saying they had to kill this, like, just your run-of-the-mill grunt. That they were saying they've played it on the console for hours. They've probably killed hundreds and hundreds of this sort of monster or whatever it is. I think it's like humanoid, but this thing.
Yeah.
They were saying doing it in virtual reality and actually like raising the gun and actually shooting this person in the face has really stuck with them. Like they said they find themselves still thinking about it like 2 or 3 days later.
Right.
So do you think there's going to be any sort of psychological ramifications for virtual reality?
No, I think it will get the same thing that every single new piece of media gets when it gets created, which is everyone goes way too over the top with what they think it causes.
But I'm not saying like what it could cause. I'm just saying like the fact that like this person was saying they've killed hundreds of this creature, but now actually doing it virtual reality and feeling more involved
what were they
in
writing? Was it it was an article for like a website, right?
For a game magazine.
Right. So here's what I would say.
Okay.
Is I imagine that either him or someone in his company has gone, you know what's really interesting is if people think that it's really stuck with you. Like, I can imagine that he might have, for weeks afterwards been like, oh man, that was kind of like, it felt kind of like I was there, that killing thing. But I don't imagine it's quite the same as the way it's coming across in the article, which makes it almost sound like he has PTSD, which I don't think virtual reality is going to fucking give anyone, because whilst it's convincing, I just don't think people are going to be like, I'm actually there.
Surely that was also going to depend on the age of the person playing, though.
Yeah. Hey, Liam, welcome to the world of ratings, where there are games that people under the age of 18 can't play. If they play them, that's their own fault. They shouldn't be.
Yeah, but do you think game ratings are upheld as strictly as movie ratings? Because I'm just speaking from personal experience here. I have seen countless times when, like, Call of Duty, the new Call of Duty comes out, if you go into a game on that weekend, you'll see like a string of just disinterested parents with their kids who are clutching that game. And the parents, like, aren't... I don't know why, but it seems to me like there's not enough awareness about games ratings in comparison to film ratings. Or, like, you've even got the Watershed on TV as well.
I disagree entirely.
Okay.
Because you're saying that based on the fact that there are kids that play those games because you can see them because they're in the game. I guarantee...
No, and you see them when they're buying it.
Probably most of my friends in primary school were watching 18 films.
Naughty films?
No, but 18, like, violent ones.
Okay.
But you don't realise that because you're not sitting down with a bunch of 11-year-olds going, have you guys seen the latest 18 rated film? And then we're going, yeah, of course I fucking have.
That's true.
That's the parents' fault if stuff like that happens. Like, this is what annoys me, when parents are like, GTA has made my kid violent, and I'm like, it's an 18, so your kid shouldn't be fucking playing it.
I agree.
If you're worried about your kid, don't buy him the game.
But do you think, because of the interactive nature of games, they could be more damaging than, say, a movie to a developing mind?
No, don't fucking buy into the insane media.
I'm not. I'm just asking for
opinion.
your opinion.
Propagating the opinion.
No, I'm asking for your take on it, so we
No,
could
of
actually.
course not. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, like I agree with what you're saying, but I also think that for some reason, games ratings are more ignored than like film ratings.
I don't think they are. Like I said, I think that's just exposure.
It's entirely possible. So what 18 films did you watch as a child?
I didn't. I wasn't one of those kids.
Really?
Yeah. My parents were not strict about it, but they were like, we don't think 18s are appropriate for your age, which is fine.
At what age did
When I was 12, I was allowed to watch 15s.
Okay, so at what
when
age...
I was 15, I started watching 18s.
Okay, so you was like a little bit in front.
Yeah, I was a little bit early, but like, whereas, you know, I'm talking about friends in like primary school.
Oh, yeah.
18.
And did they turn into like monsters?
No.
Like, were they quite normal?
Yes.
Interesting, that, isn't it?
It's weird, isn't it? It's almost like humans can separate reality and fantasy.
Almost. So Death Stranding.
Yeah. It's... I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Because all that's come out is a reveal trailer
With
which
Norman
is
Reedus.
made in the game engine. Yeah, with Norman Reedus.
Yes.
Who we knew was going to be in it. Because I think the moment Kojima got fired, him and Norman were...
Do you want to...
photos.
So for anyone that isn't aware, do you want to give like a little bit of the history of this game? Because it's quite kind of interesting.
Not really, see, this is the thing. I don't think it's going to be tied... Like, basically, it was he made the playable test demo of the new Silent Hill game.
Which went down really well.
Everyone loved it. He then got fired from Konami.
Yeah.
So the game got scrapped. He then teamed up with Sony to make a new game, which is this Death Stranding game. The only real similarity is that Norman Reedus is still in it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like everyone's going to fixate on this PT thing, but it's not going to be PT. Like, we're not going to suddenly find ourselves in a house wandering around with a woman trying to kill us.
Well, we don't know that yet.
Well, I mean, just from the trailer. If it does get to that, it's going to be very surprising. The trailer is literally like a bunch of dead whales on a beach, a baby that turns into oil, and a bunch of men floating in the sky.
It's really weird, isn't it?
It's really good. But this is the other thing, is everyone's getting really excited about it, and it's just a video.
Yeah, I'll wait till I see some gameplay.
The game's not even like really being... It's not even being properly produced yet.
No.
There is no gameplay because the game doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Once we get to that stage, then I'll start paying more attention.
Exactly. Because I'm excited, but I want people to be more... Like,
yeah. Anyone can make a trailer, really. Yeah. But making a good game, that takes a bit more skill.
Well, I think it'll be good. It's not that I don't think the game's going to be good. I'm just saying I don't... Because it's Kojima who makes good games.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I don't want people to base their opinions on a trailer that isn't based on a game that exists.
Okay. So with something like E3 as well, where it's all of the gaming stuff all together, did anything catch your attention that maybe... So let's take, for example, so you and I both have a PlayStation 4, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything there that you're like, oh man, I kind of wish I'd picked up an Xbox One?
No, not particularly.
No, I think Microsoft didn't really do a very good job, to be honest.
No, they did. They announced a lot of games. My thing is that I have a PC, so like a lot of the stuff that comes out for Xbox comes out on PC.
But I think the only thing on Xbox that I would have been like, oh, I like that, was Gears of War 4.
Yeah, I imagine that will get a PC release.
Yeah, I don't have a PC though. So...
No, I know. But that's what I'm saying. Like for me,
yeah,
a lot of the stuff I can get anyway if I really want it. It's like the big. What was that pirate one that got announced? Like Sea Pirate, Sea Pirate something. It's not called Sea Pirates because that's an insane name.
I don't know what you're on about.
There's this game coming out that's
Pirates at Sea.
No.
Pirates on the Sea.
No.
There's some pirates.
Sea of Thieves.
Ah, nothing to do with pirates then.
No, it is. You're playing as pirates.
Yeah, but like the title.
Yeah. Basically, this game Sea of Thieves is coming out, which is like you're all working together, you and your friends, or you and people online, on a ship. So people are firing cannons, people are repairing stuff. There's a pirate captain steering the ship, all that sort of stuff, right? And Dan, who has been on this show, was like, "Oh, I really want you guys to get an Xbox One so we can play it together." And I was like, "But I have a PC and it's coming out on PC."
Does he have an Xbox One then?
He's getting one.
Really?
Yeah.
For just that game or for anything else?
No, for other Xbox games.
Okay.
But I'm just like I'm not going to buy a console to get games that I can get on PC. There's nothing that's out on Xbox for me that will make me get the console.
Yeah. I just there was nothing about anything that they did that made me think I made a mistake here.
No, but then there wasn't like it's not like this huge, like the thing with E3 is it's never as exciting as it could be. Like Sony didn't exactly do incredible. I haven't come away being like, holy shit, Sony are gods.
What did they announce?
Exactly.
Well, so the big thing was a new Crash Bandicoot, which I know a lot of people have been wanting.
It's not a new Crash Bandicoot though, is it?
Sorry, it's a remaster.
Remaster.
Yeah.
Remasters. I'm not going to get excited about. I'm going to get it. I'm looking forward to it, but to me it feels lazy being like a big announcement thing and being like we're remaking one of our old games.
Well, no, I'd say it's lazy when you look at a game like The Last of Us, when all they're really doing is just sort of reskinning it a little bit to up the graphics. But a game like Crash Bandicoot, they are going to have to rebuild from the ground up. Like, I would say that's a lot less lazy.
But it's easier than making a new game.
Possibly, yeah.
No, 100%. You don't have to think about the story. They already know how they know everything about the game and how it works.
Yeah.
They have the whole story built. They know exactly what every level looks like.
But
the only thing, they're basically rebuilding it with a structure. They know what's there.
But they've got to now try and also appease to a lot of people's nostalgia.
It's a remake. It's going to be the same game.
I hope so.
It's a remake. That's what it will be.
Jack.
Yes.
Guess what time it is?
It's about 7:22.
It's time for Culture Swap.
Swap my culture.
There we go. That's how it's done. What are we doing next time? Oh, I remembered.
What?
To do the what we're doing next time bit.
Yeah.
Because we normally forget that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So, props.
Right, listeners. Next time on Culture Swap, we're going to find out who the father is.
Of?
No one. I went down a rabbit hole in my head. I can't find the way out.
Wait.
Next time on Culture Swap, listeners, next week, next 2 weeks, in the next episode of Nerd on Nerd, when we do Culture Swap, we'll be doing the movie Snowpiercer.
This was, for those of you playing along at home, this was the movie that we were going to do last time, and I had to beep out because we had a much better idea after recording.
Yeah.
So, if you were wondering, what was that thing they beeped out?
It was Snowpiercer.
It was Snowpiercer. So, do you know what we did there, Jack? It's like a little mystery for our listeners to try and unravel.
Did you enjoy it, listeners? Let us know.
Did you feel indifferent or struggle to really care? How could they let us know, Jack?
Yeah, tweet us at Nerd on Nerd and email us at nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com.
And do that if you want to tell us your thoughts on Snowpiercer, and we can discuss that next time. Now, what is important to know, as we discussed in the last episode, we're doing the movie, not the book this is based upon.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we've made that clear.
I think you just did.
Good. But this week...
We're
doing something a little bit different, aren't we?
Yeah?
Yeah, we're doing a computer game. This has been a very computer game episode.
This is our digital episode. It's all virtual reality as well.
That would be weird.
Put on your headsets now.
So wait, how would that work? Like, they could virtually reality sit
They're
next
in
to
virtual
us,
reality now.
sitting next to us.
Whoa, they're here.
I don't like where this is going.
Whoa.
This is a weird bit.
This week, we did Overwatch.
Jack,
Yes.
what's Overwatch?
It's a new game by Blizzard, company that's famous for World of Warcraft and maybe Hearthstone and StarCraft.
And Diablo.
And Diablo. I think they're more famous for the others, though.
I think it depends on what circles you run in.
Okay. It's a new sort of FPS squad-based shooter, which is more objective-based than kill-based, which is good. But yeah, it's sort of it runs in the same vein as sort of Team Fortress 2.
So Blizzard is the company that made it, as you correctly stated.
Thank you.
When did you first what was the first Blizzard game you played?
Probably Warcraft 3.
Same for me, actually. Now, for those that don't know, that's like a real-time strategy game, right?
Yeah.
And the next game I played was Diablo 2.
I never played the old Diablos.
Well, we're going to.
We're going to play Diablo 3.
At some point. It's more of a dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
And then I moved on to World of Warcraft. And that was like 8 years of my life I'm never getting back. And what was your next kind of Blizzard game?
Probably World of Warcraft.
And how did you find it?
That's about a week of my life I'm never getting back.
Okay, and then I guess for me the next one would be Hearthstone. Because I never got into StarCraft. I don't know about yourself.
I played StarCraft 2.
See, I'm not a big fan of these real-time strategy games. So,
I love real-time strategy games.
Yeah, it's just one of the many ways we differ when it comes to games.
It's one of the many ways we differ in life.
Yeah, like I like good games, and then you like the rest.
You remember how at one point you were trying to get the listeners to like you?
Yeah.
I think you might have just lost the entire StarCraft audience, which I imagine in the future will be quite big.
Oh, I don't know if we're big in Korea.
It's quite big in America and England too, buddy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are they listening to the show?
I mean, probably people that like StarCraft are, yeah.
Yeah, good.
It's like the biggest esport.
If they're listening, right, I don't give a shit which one of us they like and why they're listening, as long as they keep listening. So yeah, Hearthstone was next. Hearthstone. I think you'll find it's GIF, not GIF.
No, I think it's GIF.
Yeah, well, people would disagree with that.
I know.
Like, I'm disagreeing with Hearthstone. We've both dabbled. Well, I dabbled. You got quite addicted to it.
Yep, I love Hearthstone.
And then I guess the next one would be Overwatch, right?
Yep.
So what we're basically trying to get at with this point is that
Don't say we.
Blizzard have a long history of games, and I'd say pretty well received. Like you consider, like you said, StarCraft, huge following. World of Warcraft, probably their biggest game, I think it's fair to say.
Yep.
And now we've got Overwatch.
Sorry, so what was your point? Just to clarify.
They've been busy.
Good.
No, they've done a lot of variety, but like, okay. So I'd say the difference is in those, you could basically lump those into maybe 3 categories. You got the real-time strategy stuff, you've got the MMO stuff, and then you've got the like the Hearthstone, which is, I don't know how you'd really categorise that.
Well, Hearthstone's a card game, so that's really simple.
Cool. And I'd say elements of all of these have trickled their way into Overwatch.
Go on. How?
So the fast-paced nature of the battles of the real-time strategy. You know, like with a real-time strategy game, you'll play against like someone, and then it'll be over, and then you play against someone new, right?
No.
That's how that works.
No. So real-time strategies are notoriously famous for being quite long.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is every match you're against a different opponent.
Are you grasping at straws, buddy?
That.
Do you want me to throw you a rope?
That. I've got this.
Okay.
Just play.
No, I disagree with you, but yeah, sure.
Alright, and then
For the sake of argument, let's say I agree.
yeah, World of Warcraft is massively online.
Yeah, which this one isn't.
This one's all online.
It's not massively multiplayer.
No, but it's all online.
Hey, buddy, welcome to the 90s.
Yeah, the real-time strategy games had campaign modes. Suck
Yeah.
on that. Suck at it.
No, what? So that doesn't go into Overwatch, so I don't know what your point is still. So far,
Right.
far, the only thing
Oh, my Lord.
after saying everything trickles into Overwatch, the
Elements.
only thing you've trickled into Overwatch was that joining new matches is quick. And you said it
Elements.
like it's some design point. Like
Elements
someone
of
sat there and
each
went,
game.
I really want the StarCraft ability to enter a match.
Yeah, elements of each game. What I'm saying is you can see how Blizzard have laid the building blocks of this game from others.
Right. See, I disagree. I think what Blizzard are really
And-
good at doing...
No, you're missing the
Blizzard are
most
really
important
good
one.
at, not doing that.
You've missed the really
They're
important
really good
one.
at taking one, like making a game. So they started with an RTS, and then they went completely, like a totally different direction and made an MMORPG.
Yeah, oh, don't get me wrong.
They also then they were like, you know what, we're going to do a card-based game, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
Alright.
totally different to anything they've done before. Then they went, we're going to do a MOBA because they made Heroes of the Storm. We forgot about that.
Yeah, you haven't
So
let
they
me
did
finish
that, which
making
is
my
totally
point, though.
different. And then they were like, we're going to do an FPS. They're like crazily good at making totally different stuff.
You just kind of jumped in as I was building up to make my grand point, and you
Oh,
just
that's weird,
kind of
Liam.
made it. And
How
it's
does
like,
that feel?
You just stole
Does it
my
feel good
point.
when your friend does that to you?
Because what I was going to say, if you'd have let me finish, is they've taken small elements of each of these. Because you missed the most important one with Hearthstone, where you open new packs of cards, which you do in this one, but it's boxes instead. Big difference. And they've tacked on something new to it. First-person shooter.
Right. Okay, so again, just to clarify, they've taken bits from every game. The
Yeah.
speed of StarCraft 2,
And Warcraft.
like the ancient Greek gods themselves, Blizzard looked down upon their creations and said, we need the speed of StarCraft.
The matchmaking
packs
particularly.
of Hearthstone.
Yep. The always
And then
online
they
of
went,
World
and
of
also
Warcraft.
an FPS game.
No, the always online of World of Warcraft.
Yep, sure.
And then they went, and now, guns.
I think you did that thing where you tried to make a point and then sort of went off the rails a little bit.
I
And
don't
then
know what you're on
Were
about.
too proud to come back.
I think those listeners that listen, for me, will know exactly the sort of point I'm making.
If any of the listeners understood, could they please tweet us to
Right.
explain it to me? Because I didn't understand.
Let's just get to the main point here, Jack, which is you think it's a bloody good game, and
Yep.
I think you're wrong.
Yeah, you don't think it's a terrible game. You just
No.
don't think it's as good as I think it is.
No, I would say Average.
Fair enough.
3 out of 5. But we're
So
getting
what-
ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, you've just given a rating.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
And I need to give you a little bit of background as well.
Okay. Paint me a word picture.
Okay, close your eyes. Picture a dashing 20-something-year-old man living alone, happily, playing his PlayStation 4. Yeah?
Yep.
He loads it up, and it makes a little noise that it makes when it loads up. And he opens up a game that he's been playing for probably about 2 weeks now. He's been loving it. He'd say it's probably his game of the year, he would. It's a little game called Uncharted 4.
Yep.
And he completes it, and he goes, "Wowee, what an experience that was. Just beautiful game. Just visually sumptuous, narratively engaging. The gameplay was a joy." And then a new game arrives on his doorstep, and it's Overwatch. What a difference, eh?
Yeah.
What a difference.
I don't know what your point is.
So my point is, when you take when you consider my
Did
game
you-
of the year is Uncharted
Did you buy
4.
Overwatch thinking it would be a narrative masterpiece taking you on a journey through the history of Overwatch?
I didn't know what I was getting into.
Oh, okay, well that was your mistake then, buddy.
I mean,
You should
bearing in
probably
mind-
research the shit you buy.
Bear in mind, yeah, I accidentally picked
Just
up.
that's just something to bear for the future.
Well, bear in mind, I accidentally picked up Battleborn thinking it was Overwatch.
I mean, yeah, you bought the wrong game, which is quite impressive.
Yeah. So the only thing I knew about this was that one, it was Blizzard, and like we said, I know that they've done good story before because I was addicted to World of Warcraft, and two, lots of people were talking about it. That's all I knew.
Right. So here's the thing, right? I don't think you can compare Uncharted 4 and Overwatch.
Well, no, because one's really, really good and like Game of the Year, and the other one's Overwatch.
No, based on the fact that you what you're doing is comparing two totally different aims. Like Blizzard didn't sit down and go, "We want to make a game that gives you this crazy narrative that's really... We want people to leave being like, the story of Overwatch is incredible." Just like how Uncharted didn't go, "We want to make the best multiplayer experience."
But do you know what both games
this
sat
year.
down and probably said?
We want to make a good game.
We want to make something fun.
I feel like, judging by the developer diaries of the Overwatch team, I imagine theirs was actually with more of an aim of being fun than Uncharted was.
Disagree. Uncharted was a delight to play.
No, I feel
Overwatch.
like, I'm not saying it wasn't a delight.
No.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking
It was
about
fun. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I imagine it was fun. I'm not saying it's not
delightfully fun.
I'm saying that the Overwatch team, their whole process was based on, if a feature isn't fun, we get rid of it. And if we think something is fun, we add it.
I can immediately think of some features they should have gotten rid of, because that's the
Yeah, no,
other
it's based
thing.
on your own opinion.
Yeah,
This
but
is the
there's
issue, Liam,
this is a point I wanted to make with you.
Go on,
Actually,
what bit's not fun?
there are some features that I feel like they've put in there thinking they'll be fun.
Like, go on, give me an example.
I'm building up to it.
I don't want you to build up. I want you to tell me what the fuck
No,
you're talking
because
about.
here's
So
the
far,
thing.
you've made 3 different points, and I don't know what any of them were.
If I don't make my point first, you'll jump in and start arguing it before I've even made my point. So let me make my point, and then I'll give you the example. So I feel like they've sat around and they've gone, "Oh, we need to make this fun. Everything, it all needs to be so fun." But it isn't. Like, not all of it is fun. And let me give you the example now. Because while some of it is fun, don't get me wrong, a lot of it is just inconsequential. So the bit that I'm thinking of specifically, at the end, you can vote who you think like the player of the match is or whatever. Oh, it's just fun. Doesn't matter. It's all fun. It's just so much fun. Let's have fun with it. But because there's no like impact, like you don't get anything for being the voted player of the match, there's no fun to it. It just feels pointless.
Do you realise how depressing that sounds?
No.
For you, I imagine there are people genuinely wiping away tears as you say that.
I don't think
Like
they are.
as they just get another little look.
Yeah,
into
I
Liam's
think
little
they're
ego.
standing
That's
and
so
applauding.
depressing that the
They're
only
wiping away a tear of
thing
joy.
that you think is fun is being rewarded for something. Like, you can't just appreciate someone being nice. So the fact that sometimes you finish a game and you'll see that 7 people voted you.
Oh, that
as the player
pisses
of the
me
match,
off.
Which means that means that the 6 people on your team possibly did it, but also definitely some people on the other team voted for you, which I think is really nice. And
They
it promotes,
probably
like,
did it
this idea
sarcastically.
of being friendly. No one's fucking saying, yeah, you did well, sarcastically. That's
They
when people
are.
do GG and all that bullshit. The GG itself is not that.
But it's just such a pointless feature. It's not needed. It doesn't add
What are you
anything to the
talking
game.
about?
What does it add to the game?
That's such a stupid view. Right, do you genuinely want to know what that's about?
What does it add to the
I actually
game?
know what the reason is.
What does it add?
Right, no, I'm not talking about what it adds. I'm saying why they added it.
I don't care why they added it. They probably added it because they thought, wouldn't this be fun?
No, that's literally not why they added it.
Then why would they add it?
Because the game that they'd made before was Heroes of the Storm, which is a MOBA. Now, I don't know how much you know about MOBAs.
They are massively online battle arenas.
Yes, you know the abbreviation. Do you know much about, is it Smite and, what's the famous one, League of Legends?
League of Legends. I know that League of Legends, when you type it quickly, is LOL.
Yes, right. That's not the point, but yes, that's also right.
It's 8 point.
Okay, so it is a point. But basically, the communities around League of Legends and a lot of other MOBAs, right? It got to the point where the developers of those games had to start implementing like huge bans. They were having to go through their servers and like set up all these automated bots to find hate speech, because basically the communities became so toxic. Like new people weren't joining that. They were losing customers because people were coming onto their games, being shouted at in beginner matches and being told that they were shit. So people were like, I don't want to play this game because it's just mean. So when Blizzard released Heroes of the Storm, they came in with the attitude, we don't want that. So they tried to implement their stuff, and their community on that game is better than on the other MOBAs, right? So when they got to Overwatch, they said, right, you know, what else is like that? Things like Call of Duty, where people are really mean to each other all the fucking time. All these sort of games, they were like, we don't want people to come to our game and have that experience where people are mean to them, and where you can go at the end of the match and go, I'm the best, you suck. So they got rid of the kill stuff. They don't show your kills to everyone. You see what you did, but no one else sees what you did.
That's a smart decision.
Yeah. So then, because they don't have like you're the best, they put in a thing where you get to vote and just say, I think this guy did really well. It's not about getting something. It's not meant to be a reward.
Just
I don't know why you're
pointless.
so fixated on the idea that you have to get things because someone voted you good.
Pointless. No, I'm not saying you have to get things.
It's not pointless. That's so stupid, Liam. That's such a stupid attitude to have.
Do you know what would be...
What would it add to the game by taking that out?
So, okay, here's my suggestion for an alternative, right?
No. We're not doing alternatives. I'm asking, what does it add to the game? You said they should never have added it. So
yeah.
What would you have had? So what is... Without that, the end is literally just a screen with 6 of your faces.
No, the end is just how you did, and then on to the next match.
Right, so you think there shouldn't be any acknowledgement of anything?
No, what
you just think the game should end, and no one should be able to go,
I think it should
really
be one of two things. Either that, or the second thing, right? You can still do the little voting thing, but you know how at the end of a match they show you the play of the match? It would be cool if the person you voted for, that was their play of the match was what got shown.
What? No, that wouldn't work.
That would be cool.
That wouldn't work.
It would feel like my vote had consequence, which at the moment...
It wouldn't work, though.
I
Liam,
might as well
that concept doesn't work.
Why not?
Because one of the reasons that I end up on those cards a fair amount is when I'm playing as Roadhog, who, for listeners, is a character that is a big tank. He whips a chain around and can hook people and drag them into him. I seem to get the stupid card a lot that is hook accuracy. They can't do a play of the match, which is me repeatedly hooking people, like a montage of the hooks I did in the match.
I'm sorry, but considering a lot of the play of the matches is just one character hitting his turret, yes, they 100% can do that.
No, yeah, but that's a specific moment. Yes, it's slightly broken for Trollbjorn, or not really Bastion, because you actually see the kills of Bastion. It's specifically Trollbjorn that has that issue, right? That's one character. What you're suggesting is one where there's no card that's like... I think there's a environmental kills. I'm trying to think of one that's like, if there's a card that says you killed 5 people all at once. And I don't know if there is. Oh, there's kill streak, I guess. Or player kill streak. But what you're saying is the play of the match wouldn't be a moment where you got the most deaths or you rezzed your whole team or whatever.
Unless people voted for that.
No, but you're saying... No, but I'm saying those aren't cards. There isn't a card that says at one moment you did really well. The cards are the whole match.
Well, maybe they should change the cards. I don't think the cards need looking at because
I honestly
that bit
just
is
don't know
broken.
what you're fucking talking about. I genuinely don't like. As much as I like arguing with you, this one I genuinely don't understand what you're saying.
I feel like we need to explain to people who are listening what the game is. I feel like we haven't done a good job of that yet.
It's an objective-based shooter, so it'll be like capture point A.
Yeah, but so you get what?
I'm explaining.
You get a choice
it's
of
like
how many
capture
characters.
Point A, capture point B. To do that, you pick from a variety of characters with different skills.
Is it like 26?
Yes.
Or less?
12.
No, it's more than 12.
There's 4. Is it 5? Is it 20?
Probably.
I'm trying to think if there's a certain amount in each category. I think one of the categories maybe only has 4 people. Yeah, the supports only have 4. 19?
Yeah, sure. There's a lot.
There's, a lot. And they all have different abilities.
And what I would say, in the game's defence, is it is pretty well balanced.
Yeah. It feels unbalanced sometimes.
It is unbalanced sometimes, but that is...
No, but then you learn how to... Because, like, So one of the big issues that everyone was having when it like sort of first came out was at the lower ranks, people were getting owned by Bastion, who is a character that can turn into into a turret and just annihilate everyone.
Yeah.
But then part of the issue with Overwatch is I think people play it like, because in Call of Duty you can switch your class, but no one really does. They all just sort of, you go, oh, I've made this specific loadout.
One person's
really
like, I like being a sniper, so fuck everyone else. I'm going to sit back here and snipe.
Whereas, so people, when they play this game, pick one character and go, oh, I'm really good with him, so I'm going to be him. But like the way you're meant to do it is you're meant to like adapt. So when you're like, oh, the other team's got a Bastion, you pick a character that's good against Bastion.
Yeah.
Like, I think Hanzo can kill him in 2 shots, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain setups that are very difficult to go against unless your whole team are kind of playing along, correctly.
That's the thing I will agree with you on. I think it's that one of the issues with the game is when you get stuck with a team that don't know what they're doing, or I don't know, seem to be playing badly. That sucks.
See, I'd say for me, my big issue with the game is it's fun for a little frolic or whatever, but there was nothing to it that kept me coming back. So I think what they've implemented into the game to try and get you coming back is that whole so basically, as you play and when you win and stuff, you get experience and you rank up. When you rank up, you get what's called a loot box, is it? You can open those and they unlock different kind of things, but it's all visual things pretty much, or like cosmetic, that's the word I'm looking for. So like you could get like a new skin for your character, or a new spray paint which you can put on the environment, or like new lines that they can say, right? And I think the way that whole thing is there to try and get people coming and playing more, and that's the incentive to keep you coming back. But for me, that just wasn't a strong enough incentive to keep coming back and playing more and more. And I think because there wasn't like a story mode, so I didn't really know any of the characters. I know you said there's like stuff online, but I didn't care about the game enough to look into it. There was nothing. Once I'd kind of played each character a little bit, there was nothing that got me wanting to keep playing.
But see, this is the thing, right? I get what you're saying about the loot boxes, and I agree with you to an extent. But I think what the loot boxes are there for is to hook you initially. Like, I think for the first few games, people are playing and being like, oh, it's cool, I'm getting loot boxes quite quickly, right? But I don't think that the people that are playing it now, I don't know how many people that are sort of level, like 30 plus, say.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of them are only playing it to get loot boxes. Because I'm not.
No,
I'm
sure by that point, I think people like the idea of mastering a character.
No, you're wrong. You're so wrong. That's the opposite of what people are doing.
I
only know this because I'm in the like Overwatch subreddit and I read what people are talking about.
Right, but that's
that's the opposite of what people are doing.
That's not an accurate reflection of the entire
user base. It is at the high levels, because the other people are people like you that have played it for a bit, don't care enough to like go and read that stuff.
I've been on the subreddit. It's a lot of people just posting GIFs. It's a lot of that.
Yeah, if you just look at the GIFs.
Yeah, but I honestly think that is such a small fraction of the user base that you couldn't say that was an accurate representation of all of the higher level stuff.
I think it is, though, of the higher levels, because to
disagree.
get to the high levels, you have to play the game a lot.
Yeah, but I don't think everyone on the higher
that
level
you
is on
genuinely think
Reddit.
there are people at level 60 who are just going on to get loot boxes?
No. What I'm saying is I don't think the subreddit is an accurate
well, that wasn't my point.
representation.
My point was that I don't think the high levels are going on there to get loot boxes, and
What are they
going
going on
there
for?
to master a character. I think they're going on because it's a good game and they enjoy it. The same reason that people are still playing Team Fortress 2, which is really fucking old.
I've never played it.
Because they genuinely enjoy. I know you haven't. I just don't think this game is for you.
No, well,
I think that's the issue. I don't think you enjoy. I don't think your brain ticks in the way that makes people enjoy this game.
No, so it's basically to get me playing, I had to kind of invent reasons to play, which turned into...
You didn't invent reasons. You went, I'm going to get all the trophies.
No, not all of them, because some of them are ridiculous. But I was like, I want to get to 50% of the trophies.
Right,
that was my goal.
You didn't invent a reason.
Yeah, because
that's just your trophy addiction.
No, because when I was playing Uncharted 4, I wasn't like, right, the only way I'm going to turn this on to carry on playing it is so I can get another trophy. You see what I'm saying here?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so with this, I did have to invent that reason to keep me playing it so I could review it fairly for the podcast, because otherwise, I reckon I'd have maybe played it a couple of nights with like you and Dan and your little friends, but I probably wouldn't have done more than like maybe 2 nights.
Okay, so my only counterpoint to that, and it's not based on the game, this is based on you, would be that what happened was this game came out.
Yeah.
I played it, I enjoyed it, you were playing it, you enjoyed it, or, you were playing it.
Yeah.
We weren't going to do it for the podcast.
Yeah.
And then you were still playing more than 2 nights, might I point out, which I believe was the limit. You said you'd probably have played it if you weren't doing it for the podcast, but you had already played more than 2 nights before you decided that we were going to do this for the podcast. Yes, 100%. Yes, 100%.
Okay.
We did not play it 2 nights and then record the last episode.
Okay. No, so if you remember, we recorded, and then that was the first time we were playing it, that night after we recorded.
No, it wasn't. I played before that.
Yeah, you did. I couldn't, because I was installing it, remember? So I ended up watching Goosebumps. So that was my first time playing it after we recorded.
You're right.
Yes.
But what you're not right about is that's not when we decided to play Overwatch for the podcast.
No. Yeah. We decided a couple of days later.
So I'm right. It was more than 2 days. It wasn't 2 days. It was about a week later that you rung me and said, I'm going to edit out the bit where we talk about Snowpiercer and I'm going to say we should do Overwatch.
Yeah, because we were doing it already.
Before you decided to do it, you had been playing it more, because I remember specifically at that point being like, oh, you must like this game, and you being like, no, I don't. And I was like, what are you talking about?
No, okay,
you're playing it with me every night, and you were like, yeah, but I'm not enjoying it.
No.
We should do it for the podcast.
You're making it sound like I'm hating the game. I didn't hate
I think
the
you
game.
might be making it sound like you hate the game.
I didn't hate the game. I just found it
average. You said you couldn't
average.
find any fun in the game, and the only reason you played it was to get 50% of the trophies. I think you're making it sound like you don't like this game, Liam, not me.
Yeah, maybe. But, I think our listeners are smart enough to know what I'm trying to say.
I don't think they are, because I'm not.
Because that's the thing, sometimes with when I say words and stuff, they kind of come out but not necessarily in the right way. And then I just have to hope that people are smart enough to figure out what I'm meant to say.
I don't think you should rely on other people being smart to correct the weird things you say.
It's kind of how I have to live my life. But yeah, like I said at the start, for me it was a 3 out of 5 game. Maybe I was being a bit unfair. Maybe a week would have been enough for me, and then I'd have probably been like, I get it, Because I do feel like maybe a week is a good amount of time to have a little try with each character. It's hard to do that in 2 days.
Yeah.
But it's just... It's the other thing I would say, and I don't know if you'd agree, at the moment, and I'm sure this will change, at the moment it's very... Or at least, once you play it enough, it gets to a point where it's very samey. It's almost like... And I don't just mean that by, like, it's only a handful of levels you have, but certain levels you almost can start predicting how the enemy are going to play that level.
Okay, like what?
Like, I can't remember what it's called. I don't know the names.
Yeah, I'm not good with the names of that levels.
There's the one, right, where you go under the tunnel, and then you go back outside. We were playing it. We had a nightmare against a load of bastions. It was me, you, and Dan.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Like, that level, you can kind of expect, right, I'm going to come out the gate, there's a tourbillon that's going to put a turret up opposite where I come out. There's probably going to be a Reinhardt or something milling around. There's probably a Tracer or someone zipping around. And, like, you can start almost predicting how the enemy is going to behave. Bearing in mind, the enemy is an AI. That's what I mean when I say it's... For me, it started getting to a very samey point.
Yeah, but I wonder how much of that, though, is the way you play it.
I can't affect how the enemy plays, though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You do. Because I've had matches where we've all started as one player and then people have switched to adapt, right? So, whereas you, not in a negative way, because it worked, it's fine, but because you were doing the trophy thing, a lot of the times we were playing, you would be playing as one character and that was it.
What I got to the stage of is, because I was also trying to learn what the trophies were. Once I'd figured that out more, I had like 3 that I would rotate through depending on the circumstance.
Because you were switching towards the end,
Yeah, but it was just learning what the trophies were.
Early on you were playing as like one character.
Yeah.
But I wonder how much of it is that you're limiting yourself by doing that.
Oh, 100%.
Because like I don't play as one character.
No, but that's kind of the issue with me struggling to find a reason to play it. When I try and bring that reason in trophies, that still doesn't make it more fun.
But I don't understand. Are you saying you don't enjoy it? Because you're saying that you'll give it a 3 out of 5, but the way you're saying, like, you had to inject your own fun into it and stuff, it sounds like you didn't like this game at all.
So when you
that's what I don't understand. I don't understand how you can be giving it 3 out of 5. I'm not necessarily annoyed by your opinion. I'm annoyed by the fact that you're claiming you're going to give it 3.3 out of 5. But you didn't enjoy the game. You had to find your own fun.
Let's talk about the trophies for a second, which I know is
something
that you...
No, I don't care about trophies. That's
I know you don't, but I do.
No one cares about them except you.
And Dan,
Dan's not trying to get them all. He likes getting them.
Yeah,
He's
there
not
we go.
trying.
No, but he might care. He probably won't listen. Doesn't matter. Here's the thing with the trophies. I'd say some of them definitely skill based. Definitely skill based. More often than not, a lot of them luck and circumstance.
Go on, examples.
I've got a trophy. Didn't even realise, complete blind luck. More than one. And I'd say a lot of them, it's just being in the right place at the right time. The enemy has lined up nicely. So a lot of trophies, it will be kill 4 or more enemies using a character's kind of super ultimate ability, right?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of them will require, basically, 4 characters to be clustered together. And if the enemy are doing that, they're not really playing the game right. So that
depends
makes
on what
it...
you're talking about, though.
Unless they're trying to capture an objective.
If they're doing that one where you've got effectively escort a vehicle, then you can easily end up with all 5 of the team around there, and that
You
not
really
being a problem.
shouldn't, though.
No, you 100% can.
You shouldn't.
What about at the end of a match when you're all pushing it that final bit?
Yeah, but what you should be doing, really, is killing them so they're spawning and coming back. For 5 enemies to be collected together at one time,
I'd say that's really common.
Unlikely. And then you not only that, but then so for example, then you have to get the kill in a certain way, doing certain things. Some of them are just ridiculous. I would say, unless you're in a group,
the wall ride one is ridiculous.
Yes,
but that is skill. That's a skill one. The Widowmaker one, I will admit, feels like
ridiculous.
I don't know, unless it might be easier on PC. I don't know if the PC has trophies similar to that.
Possibly, but this thing. So for example, Divas, yeah. Complete luck when I got that.
No.
I blind fired it.
I think you can get them by luck.
Yeah.
But
skill.
I don't think that means there's not skill. No, because there is.
No, so that's what I'm saying. Some of them, definitely skill. And I'm sure the more skillful players will find them like a breeze to get with certain characters at least.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's what I was trying to get across, was that they aren't, when you say it, because, you made it sound like they are just like luck.
Yeah, take McCree, for example.
They can be skilled. You can get the trophy with skill, but some of them you can also get lucky and get them.
Not only skill, you do also need to be lucky in that the enemy team are where you need them to be. So take McCree, for example, right? His trophy, perfect example, he's got this ability called Dead Shot or something, where
Deadeye, is it? Or
yeah, something like that. Where these targeting reticules appear on the enemy, and you have to kind of give it a couple of seconds. They'll line up, and then it's one hit kill, right? If it lines up and the enemy stays on your line of sight.
Yeah.
So when I got that trophy, I had a character called May on my team who put a wall of ice up in front of me. As that came down, a couple of seconds before I started the Deadeye, whatever it was called, that came down. He immediately targeted 4 enemies in front, and I just hit the button. 0 skill,
but you're saying
100% luck.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that you can get the trophy with luck, but you could also, if you've got a skilled McCree on your team, and I've had McCree's take out 4 people on my team and get player of the match. I only know it because I've seen it on player of the match.
Yeah, but
where I'm he wasn't lucky. He knew that we were doing a push, so he waited until we did a push, let us take out the first couple of his team, but he got himself in a position where he could use his Deadeye to take out our team.
But again, it also does rely on the enemy team kind of doing what you're hoping they'll do.
No, I think you just are assuming that everyone plays it the way you do.
No, not at all. But what I'm saying, I
honestly think you can get players that know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
So I think you could have where the final push, your team is trying to get. So just picture this scene, Liam. Mm-hmm. You're escorting the vehicle. Yeah, you've done the last checkpoint. You've got to get it to that final point. So your whole team, you're in overtime. Right? You get to overtime, and you get, which listeners, overtime happens if you're still pushing an objective. If you have a chance of capturing an objective, overtime will run until either you get it or your team is wiped out and not able to get there in time. Right? So picture, Liam, you're in overtime, you're doing the final push, you're meters away, right? What you're saying is that you think that half your team are just going to airy-fairy out of there and just disappear around the map. And that a McCree couldn't go, I'm pretty positive that their whole team is going to try and push this objective the last bit. So I'm going to get behind them and use my ult on them. Or a Hanzo wouldn't fire through the middle and go, I know that their whole team's pushing this point, so I'm going to use my ult.
What I think would happen from experience is you'd have 3 of your team push in, you'd have another person running because he's just been killed and he recently respawned, and then you'll probably have someone else, fuck knows where, doing whatever they want on another part of the map.
Right, which brings us back to the whole, there is a disparity between the low levels and the high levels, which is what we were saying earlier. So I think that it is skill-based, because I think that high-level players would be playing it the right way.
Do you think two teams of high-level players would be able to kind of instantly kill the entire other team if they were both high-level?
Yeah, if a McCree gets behind you, the levels don't change anything else.
Well, no, they change the player's experience.
So if one of your teams slips up and lets a McCree get behind you, then yeah, I think a McCree could easily take out your whole team if he was there.
So you think a whole team of well-experienced players would group up like that?
On the final point in overtime, yes. Because that's the only way you can guarantee it.
And you don't think, getting to that point, one of them would have been killed and they'd have been respawning and running? They'd all be there together.
So your complaint is that you can only get these things by random chance and luck. When I give you a situation in which you could get it without that, you say, but random chance and luck would have happened.
Yeah.
Right, well, you're making a ridiculous point that makes no sense. Yes,
in
the hypothetical universe that you live in, where only things that you decide can happen, yes, it would be impossible to get it with skill, you're right. In the real universe that the rest of us live in, I genuinely think that most of those things could be gotten by a skilled player who was actually trying.
I'm going to say slightly more luck than skill. I'd say 40% skill, 60% luck. I'd say it's 40% knowing your character and knowing where to be with your character, and then 60% hoping the enemy also does what they need to do for them to be where they need to be for your thing to work.
Right, well, I disagree with you, and we're not going to agree, so don't worry about it.
So, but what we've done with this discussion, right, is we've had a lot of my thoughts on it. So let's have the alternative side of why you like it so much. Because I've said a lot of why I didn't like it. Why did you like it?
The issue is when you go first, I use all the reasons that I like it to counter your this is why I don't like it. Okay. So, like, I really like it because I genuinely enjoy the matches that I've been part of that aren't based on luck, but where your team are all working together to achieve the goal. So you're actually playing right. But you then are like, well, I've never seen that match. That's fine.
No, I've seen something like that.
You just said that you've never had it. Your whole team disappear off around the map and aren't doing the right thing.
You tend to have one or two that will bugger off and do their own thing, but every now and again you'll have a team that are in sync.
Right. I enjoy those matches. But when I'm in a match where that's not happening, I usually can find a way to enjoy it. Like, I'll be playing... So, if I've got a really bad team, usually I'll play one of the flanking characters, like Tracer or Genji, who Tracer can zip around the map using super speed, and Genji...
Well, it's more like teleporting.
It's a teleport in it. She leaves the time stream, Liam, and reappears in it at the correct point.
Yeah.
Genji, who can climb up walls, is quite fast, and has a slash sort of dash move. But
he's like a samurai, right?
Yeah. If I'm in a team that's not particularly like well together, I'll usually play as one of them, because that way you can disrupt if the other team are playing well together, say they have like a support hero, you can usually disrupt some of their team by being a flanker and taking out the weaker characters.
Yeah.
So even when a game's not like particularly coherent, you can still enjoy it because you can still have a chance. Like, even with bad teams, I've got to the point where there are some maps where you capture a central point and that adds to your score, and the team wins when they get to 100%. And if you both get to 99%, the game gives you overtime. Yeah. And I've had matches where I've been like, my whole team's being shit, I hate this. And then suddenly being like, wait a minute, we've got 99%, they've got 99%, and it all comes down to this crazy battle in the middle. Like, that's what I like about this game. I like that it's really quick matches. It's not something I have to dedicate hours to. I don't have to sit down and go, right, I've got to have 2 hours aside where I can play Overwatch. I can literally go on this game, play a match. If I'm like going somewhere and I'm like, I haven't got much time, but I've got, 15 minutes, I can fit a game of Overwatch in.
Yeah.
I really enjoy... I enjoy the loot boxes as much as I'm not playing to get them anymore. I will admit that I have bought loot boxes.
Yeah, with actual money.
Yep, because I like this game, and I like the fact that I'm supporting Blizzard. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
And that's why I like this game. I like that it's a quick, fun game.
So another kind of, not really a complaint, but I do wish there had been more game modes available. Because there's essentially, what, 2?
3.
3. So there's 3 game modes and like a handful of maps.
Yeah, but they're going to add more. This is the good thing about Blizzard.
They are.
This is what I had with Hearthstone. Hearthstone started with that core pack. You had the core like cards, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then they consistently have added to the game. They've added story mode stuff.
Yeah.
They've got to a point where they've had to start removing old packs from the. They've had to set up a whole other like type of rotation.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, we can't review this game based on what they might add.
No, but we know, right, it's not what they might add. They've confirmed that they're releasing more stuff. We're getting 2 characters.
But we can't review that because we haven't tried it yet. No, of course
you can. That's ridiculous.
Sorry, we can review something that we haven't played.
No, I'm not reviewing the new content. I'm saying to you, the fact that it's been released... Literally, there's a whole type of game called Early Access, which I don't particularly like, but the premise is that you get a small part of the game, and they say to you, well, this is what we're also going to be releasing, and then you fund them based on that. So yeah, of course I can say I enjoy Overwatch, and I'm pretty positive Blizzard are going to add more stuff that I will enjoy.
Yeah, sorry, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're not going to add more stuff.
I'm not going to go, it's 5 out of 5, because they might add an extra game mode, Liam. I love this game by itself. If they weren't adding more stuff, I wouldn't care. You were the one that said, are you not upset they've not got... I'm not.
No, so that's what I'm saying.
I think they've got enough game modes. But I would be fine with more. I just don't... At the moment, I'm fine with what we got.
I think... For release, it was a little bit slight. I would have liked, personally, a little bit more variety.
Yeah, but you also... Right.
Just in the game modes. I think the character roster was fine.
Yeah, see, that's
exactly
what I was
the right
I
amount.
Don't think you can criticise their... You can't say... It's like you're like the kid in the sweet shop whose parents go, here's £1, get what you want. So he gets a bunch, and then he goes, it sucks, though, because I didn't get that other thing that I wanted. Like, they gave you all these characters... They created, like you said, a game that's fairly well balanced, considering. Yeah. Right? They gave you all this, and then you go, yeah, but there's not enough maps. Like, it's such a minor thing.
But it isn't, though. If it, I'm not saying I'm annoyed by it. I'm just saying that might have kept me playing for a little bit longer. You know, like
I'll be honest, Liam. I'll be honest with you. I honestly don't think Blizzard give a shit about you. No, specifically you. I don't think anyone's going. Liam Underwood has said he's not going to play Overwatch anymore. And that is the biggest blow to Overwatch we're ever going to have.
It might be.
And I, at this point, don't care that you're not going to play it anymore. I would love you to, but I know you're not going to.
That's what I'm saying. So, I feel like I've reached a point with it where there's nothing new for me to discover with it. Whereas if there was maybe a few more maps, it would take me longer to reach that point. That's a fair thing to say.
I don't think it is. Because I think it rolls back to the point of this game wasn't made for you. I don't think you're the type of person that would ever have enjoyed this game.
But I'm not saying I hated it. I'm saying it was
I know.
average.
I'm not saying you hate it either. I'm just saying I don't think you're the kind... Like, I can see myself playing this for a fair long time after this. Like, I'm probably going to be playing it for quite a while.
Because I would say you're, for some reason, and I don't know why, but I'd say from what I've seen with your games that you like, you tend to not go for the very narratively driven stuff that requires a bit of time investment.
That is the opposite of what my game collection says, so I would disagree with you there.
I mean,
sure.
This is just based on games we've discussed.
Okay.
Like, I'd say the games that we talk about and that you seem to play a lot of aren't games that are very story driven.
Right. You're wrong, but okay. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you're wrong.
Okay. So I've yet to have a discussion with you where you're like, I played this game and it was an amazing story. It's always something else.
What are you talking about? The Mass Effect trilogy is one of my favourite games of all time. I love all 3 of those games. They're only story-based. The original Dragon Age Origins is one of my favourite games. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 are 2 of my favourite games. Neverwinter Nights was a fucking fantastic game. They're all story-based games, and they are easily in my top list of games.
And yet you've never completed The Last of Us. That doesn't make sense.
It's not in my top list of games.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so what you actually mean, it's not that you don't think I like story games, it's that I didn't like the one story game that you think is god of all.
No. Like
the BioShock games, all 3 of those are fucking incredible. I love those games. But I didn't play Last of Us, so I don't like story games.
No, I'm saying when we discuss games, you don't discuss story-based games, typically. Because it seems like lately, the games that you've been playing haven't been story-based. Or at least the games you've been playing and talking about. Because before Overwatch, it was that game where you were some alien civilization thing. What was that one?
Stellaris.
Yeah. Was that it?
But that's an RTS.
Exactly.
That's not got its own story, but that's because you're making your own story. So while I get what you're saying, yeah, there's not a narrative that's been written for me. My fucking Dominion of Korg took over half the galaxy, being based entirely on research. They were a peaceful race, but they were actually lying to most people and would use war to take over territory that they thought had good resources. So while, there wasn't a narrative written into the game, I have a little thing, Liam, that I like to call imagination. And I use that to make my games fun and narrative-based.
Do you do that with Overwatch?
Yeah, like how you said. I have tracked down all of the cinematic films that they made for Overwatch. I've read the backstories for most characters. I love the story of Overwatch that isn't in the game, but it's a story that exists. They're
I have a
comic books,
question.
so I might get them.
I have a question.
Go on.
Why did they not put the story, well, not the story, but the cinematics at least, in the game? So you know
Because
how
they don't usually do cinematics like that in a game.
But you know how, like, with each character you can unlock, like, skins and stuff? Why not also be able to unlock a cinematic for each one?
Because they haven't got a story for each one made into a cinematic. They've got 3, I think, at the moment.
I mean,
and one of them's not about a specific character.
This was one of my big issues with playing the game, is I never, like beyond just enjoying it, I never felt like I knew why I was playing it from a you know, like, within the game perspective. Like, I never knew why this group of characters were working together to escort this car to the objective.
But yeah, that's because that wouldn't make sense. You'd have to limit what characters you could play as.
Yeah, well, no, but, like, you know...
Because you couldn't have Reaper team up with Soldier 76.
In something
in
like...
the lore, Soldier 76 was the original leader of Overwatch, and Reaper used to work for Overwatch, but went bad.
See, in a game like Call of Duty, right, there is a... It's weak, but there is, you know, you're very aware, oh, okay, we're the Americans and they're the whoever it is this week that we're...
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It wouldn't work if you had to limit half the team.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, so when I'm playing it, I don't know my character's motivation.
Right. Well, I think that's a weird... like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand that you would have liked there to have been a narrative, but the only thing I can say to you would be that this game wasn't made to be a narrative game. And
no,
if you can't appreciate
I get
it, if you can't appreciate a game when there isn't a narrative, that's fair enough, because that's what you like. That's cool, but I think you shouldn't fixate on the lack of narrative. Like, I don't know. It feels weird to me that, like, I love narrative games, but I can enjoy a game that doesn't have a narrative.
Yeah, but see, this is what I'm
they're
saying.
Two
like,
different things.
A game...
I think you're too fixated on the idea, on this idea you have of what a game is.
No, the thing is, I'm saying...
Which is weird, with I love mobile games, and half of them don't have stories, so I don't understand how you can love them.
With a game like Overwatch, I just don't see why I would pick it up to play it again. Like...
To have fun, to have 15 minutes of fun, because your friends are on there playing it, and you're like, cool, we can have a team and we can all work together. Those are the reasons.
It's an average game, right? So
no, don't say right like I'm going to agree with you, because you know I'm not.
It's not that fun.
It is fun. That's what I don't understand, and I don't think either of us are going to be able to explain it. But I genuinely enjoy this game, and you don't enjoy the same things that I'm enjoying about it.
3 out of 5.
4.5 out of 5.
Wait, so 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
What could they have done differently to have got that 5 for you?
I don't know. To get
okay,
when I give something 4.5, it's not because something was missing.
Alright, so can we very quickly, before we wrap this up, just do a little role reversal, and you say one thing you don't like about the game, and I'll say one thing I do like about the game.
I said one thing I don't like about the game.
What was it?
I don't like the fact that you can be put on a team that completely fails. Like, if your team aren't working together, you can have a match that is just terrible.
But how could you prevent that?
You couldn't. I'm not saying like a lot of your points. You can't change it because you would change the core of Overwatch.
Okay, so that's one thing that you don't like. Is there more things? I'm not going to ask you to go into them, but are there more things?
Not particularly.
Okay.
I think that's my main issue. Those are the things that have annoyed me with it.
Fair enough.
What's one thing you loved?
One thing I loved about it is the fact that with the characters, what they did very well, I thought, was each character felt very unique and distinct from the others. And considering how many characters there are, I think that's quite an achievement to pull off. That was our thoughts on Overwatch.
As per usual, we disagreed.
I hope it made sense.
It probably won't have, but it might have, because I'm editing this episode and it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, so that's something for you to look forward to. Thanks for listening to Nerd on Nerd. I've been Liam Underwood.
I've been Jack Kempster.
And if you'd like, you can tweet us at Nerd on Nerd. Let us know your thoughts. If you want longer thoughts, then why don't you email us, nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com. We've now got a Twitch channel, if you know what that is. So see if you can find us there. Maybe we'll give it a go at some point. I'm thinking that's more going to be Jack will be doing that more than me, because he's more the gamer of the two.
Maybe. We'll see.
We've also got a YouTube channel. Go subscribe. That would help us out a lot. It's really hard to find, so just go to our Twitter and find a link on there or something.
Or type in It's Just a Fleshlight, Episode 1, Nerd or Nerd.
Perfect. That'll get you there. Adam and Eve, if you're listening, we'll take that sponsorship. Thank you very much.
Dildos galore.
And don't forget, next time we're doing Snowpiercer. So definitely let us know your thoughts on that movie. And otherwise, have a good couple of weeks until we see you when we see you. Maybe we'll do Blab at some point. Who knows?
We should do, yeah.
Yeah, we probably should, but who knows? Bye.
Conjuring.
Bye. Bye. I'm just going to carry on. All this lovely content for Jack to use. Liam is brilliant. Liam is fantastic. I really like Liam.